at this hour. All of our time, I am aware, is very, very valuable. And that's why today we have brought in Sonal Jaitly, who's the lead gender equality and social inclusion at Microsave Consulting. Well, Sonal is a gender and development finance professional with more than 2 decades of experience with development banks, international funding agencies, UN Women, MFIs, and community based institutions in Asia. Sonal's work focuses on women's financial inclusion and economic empowerment, and that's exactly what we are talking about in this community, integrating a gender perspective into policies and programs, gender mainstreaming with finance service providers, combining insights from behavioral sciences and technology use and digital financial services to enhance inclusion. She has more than a decade of experience working on gender issues. Her prior experience includes working as a team leader for gender at the Small Industries Development Bank of India, excuse me, SIDBI. She led women's enterprise development programs, provided technical assistance to government stakeholders. She's also led programs for ending violence against women during her tenure at UN Women. Sonal has authored and contributed to several reports on gender equality, and her writing has also been featured in Washington Times. Thank you very much for joining us on Entrepreneurial Community, Sonal. Please share your wisdom with the community.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Rika, and thank you for the entire community for this, giving me this opportunity to interact with all of you. And of course, thank you for taking out this time, and I'll try my best that you have some key takeaways from this session because your time as entrepreneurs is so, so valuable. So let me just dive deep into what I have to share on how the government of India is doing a lot to support entrepreneurs across, whether it's men or women, but it's also doing a lot to support women entrepreneurs in specific. Rika has kindly given my introduction, but I'll just quickly add that I currently work for Microsave Consulting. Microsave is a 25-year-old management consulting firm that works across more than 25 countries, and we have 11 offices globally. And we work for social, financial, digital, and economic inclusion of low-income populations across Asia and Africa. So having said that, I would like to first start by sharing how does the women's entrepreneurship ecosystem look like in our country and why there is a need to support and promote specific affirmative action that the government does for specifically promoting women-led enterprises. So this is how our entrepreneurship landscape looks like in the country currently. We have over 20% MSMEs that are owned by women, owned and run by women. If you see international rankings, we've improved a lot since a few years, but we still rank 57th out of 65 countries as per the MasterCard Index of Women Entrepreneurs. And all the research and data says that India could add to its GDP. India could create 30 million more women enterprises, potentially adding 150 to 170 million jobs if we are able to promote and accelerate more profit-oriented women's entrepreneurship in our country. As you see that only 9% of Indian women in paid jobs are in the formal sector. Even when women own enterprises, 17%, only 17% of these enterprises are those who hire any kind of workers. So majority of the landscape is single women enterprises. So they are single-handedly running their enterprise. They don't generate a lot of employment, and that's because they're very, very small and tiny. So majority of our women's entrepreneurship landscape is concentrated in the very micro and small sector. In fact, majority of these entrepreneurs are informal entrepreneurs. Very few women entrepreneurs are in the formal sector, and all of the data is there. And even as per the Global Entrepreneurship Monitor, the early stage entrepreneurial activity in India is pretty low as compared to other similar countries that they have surveyed. So if you see the data, it's around 2.6% for women. And also the distribution looks a bit different for urban versus rural. However, the MSME sector employs 76% men and 24% females as employees in the MSME units overall. So we can go to the next slide, Sheetal. So if you flesh out the key attributes of the ecosystem, how it looks like, it would not, we can safely say that we still need to promote and accelerate women's entrepreneurship a lot in our country, even though the government is already doing a lot and we are on the right path. But if we see the majority landscape, it looks like women-led enterprises are not sustainable because 90% and more are concentrated in the informal sector. They are not sustainable also in the sense that if there is an external shock, their revenues completely decline and they face greater risk of shutting down. Similarly, 20% are estimated to be proxy women owned, actually run by their spouses, but just women owned on paper. Similarly, in terms of generating employment, if you see, average women-led enterprise generates about one employment for 1.6 persons on an average, and only 95%, majority of them remain unregistered. So they're not in the formal sector, not registered enterprises, which creates its own host of challenges. So that is why this is a framework to understand how the overall MSME landscape for women entrepreneurs looks like. Now, since we work a lot with multiple partners, we are a knowledge partner to the Women's Entrepreneurship Platform, which is incubated by Niti Aayog, and which is a public-private partnership that works at the national level to promote a robust ecosystem that promotes women's entrepreneurship in various ways. In terms of research that we did with the Women's Entrepreneurship Platform, we find that all entrepreneurs usually need these basic 6 services, and it is essential for the ecosystem to provide these services to entrepreneurs so that they can grow and build profit-oriented enterprises. These key needs is sorry, I just somebody was speaking. Is it okay? I'll just go here. So we identify these key ecosystem needs for entrepreneurs, and then we map how the government schemes are fulfilling each of these needs for entrepreneurs. So starting with entrepreneurship promotion, it is very critical that enterprises and pursuing entrepreneurship is promoted across India for young girls, because if you see, there are more men as compared to women taking the path of entrepreneurship. There is a lot of lack of confidence, also lack of awareness. So it's very critical to promote entrepreneurship for young girls as a viable career option, because the government and the ecosystem is providing a host of opportunities to start new enterprises overall in the ecosystem. Similarly, training and skilling. So if you decide to be an entrepreneur, you need to also have technical skills in terms of the sector that you choose. And you also need to have general management skills, communications, and other soft skills that you need to become an entrepreneur. So we also mapped how many government schemes are providing, training on sector-specific skills and general skilling in terms of communication and other skills that are required to become a successful entrepreneur and promote your enterprise. So the numbers that you see on the sides are actually the number of central schemes that are supporting all of these needs for entrepreneurs. So in terms of access to finance, we see that there are largest number of government schemes supporting access to finance for entrepreneurs. Every entrepreneur, apart from entrepreneurship promotion and getting trained and skilled, the next step is that you need finance. So once you develop your idea, a product prototype that is ready to go to the market, you need financing, because everything you can't fund from your pocket. You need finance from the ecosystem. So the government provides a lot of schemes that provide you easy access. I would not say so easy, but definitely affordable access to finance if you fulfill all the requirements that these schemes have. Similarly, market linkages are very critical for entrepreneurs. So there are schemes that provide access to domestic government as well as international markets through various platforms. I would come to it in a bit. Another very key need for entrepreneurs is mentoring and networking, exactly what the community here also supports a lot. So mentoring is very critical to understand and learn from people who've already been there, done that, and not make the same mistakes again. So mentoring and networking is actually an underrated need, and very few government schemes also support mentorship and networking. So that is definitely one of the gap areas also in terms of government support in this area. When you start growing as an enterprise, you need a lot of business support services. So these are services you start to need when your business is growing. So you need to digitize, you need to make your operations more efficient. You need technology upgrades. You need to be on the right side of the law. So you need to have a lot of legal advice and compliance. So there are a lot of schemes also providing business support services to entrepreneurs who need it. So they are in different forms through different institutions, but a lot of these services are provided through different schemes. So how is government accelerating entrepreneurship through these schemes? So the basic mechanisms are these government schemes actually provide support across all of these needs that we discussed in the last slide, supporting either finance, market, or training and skilling for entrepreneurs. Similarly, how they specifically promote support for women within these schemes is that many of these schemes have special provisions specifically for women entrepreneurs. So you will see in the next few slides, I will talk about, we can go back to that slide, Sheetal. So I will talk about certain schemes that have special provisions. And if you actually browse through all the government schemes, you will find a lot of special provisions specifically reserved for women entrepreneurs in those schemes. Again, Women Entrepreneurship Platform is also one mechanism. It's a national digital aggregator platform which provides support to women entrepreneurs across a variety of areas. It has also recently launched a mentorship platform, which I will shortly talk about. So the main aim of the Women Entrepreneurship Platform is to create a conducive ecosystem for all women entrepreneurs in the country. And it does so by bringing all key ecosystem players together, financiers, those incubators and accelerators who give incubation support, ONDC that is doing a lot on market access for entrepreneurs, etc. So all of these are convened under one ecosystem to ensure that to have specific programs and also to drive more commitments and more support on the bottlenecks that are faced by women entrepreneurs specifically. Similarly, if you see, a lot of the schemes are actually channeled through banks. So for example, Mudra, how can you access Mudra? So Mudra you can access through any public sector bank. So majority of the schemes that are on access to finance can be accessed through public sector banks. These schemes offer subsidized rates of interest for women entrepreneurs specifically. Similarly, in terms of procurement, to provide better market access, government reserves proportion of procurement from women entrepreneurs. That is also government's way of promoting market access for women entrepreneurs specifically. We can go to the next slide, Shita. Yeah. So this is mostly about, how are these schemes delivered? So even if you have information on the schemes, you will see that not all schemes are completely online. So here we are just talking about the central government schemes. If we put together all schemes by the government of India to promote just entrepreneurship, we find that there are more than 500 state schemes amongst more than 28 states. And there are more than 70 central schemes that are promoting entrepreneurship in one way or the other. If we just take the example of central schemes that are promoting entrepreneurship, we find that at least 27 are completely online. You can access them online. 58 are offline. Those schemes that are offline could be have different mechanisms to access them. So these are through institutions. So either Directorate General of a particular institution, or it would be development commissioners or the district industries center, etc. So you will find information on the websites on how you can, where you can go to access these schemes and submit your applications. The online versions are much easier and streamlined. Now, what would you need, and what does the government generally need to understand from you to ensure that they give you the support that is allocated for you under the schemes? Is that you will need to establish your identity proof. So for any formal access to any government service, it's a basic requirement that you need to prove your identity either through an Aadhaar or a voter ID. Aadhaar is the most generally accepted way of proving your identity these days. So you need to prove your identity. You need to prove that your business is registered. You need you need to, in some schemes you're also required to give like last 3 years of your income tax returns. You need to prove that you have a business registration and a business proof. So the proofs that you can provide to establish that you have a registered business entity running. Some schemes where they also give access to benefits for collective women enterprises. There you would need to establish that women own more than 51% of the share in those enterprises. And of course, schemes that you can access online will ask you to register your profile. They will ask you mostly for your email IDs, mobile numbers, and register your profile. Even if you register on the WEP platform, you need to create a profile, and then you can access the offerings that the platform has. We can move to the next slide, Shitu. Yeah. So these are some of the offerings of the Women's Entrepreneurship Platform. I encourage everyone who's joined the session to please go and register on the platform. Once you register and create your profile, you can access all of these offerings of the platform. So it recently launched a mentorship platform within WEP, wherein you can create your profile, and your profile will be matchmaked with an industry expert. So since we realized through a lot of research and our own experience at the Women's Entrepreneurship Platform, that mentorship and networking is very, very critical. You really need to crack these industry networks to ensure that you're getting the orders that you need. You are creating the presence that you need in your sector. So it's very important to have the right mentors, to network also with your peers in the sector. So this mentorship platform has 4 tracks. You can, in the first track, which is the individual track, you can create your profile, and the platform will automatically match you with a mentor who is from your industry and from your sector, and the preferences that you state in your profile. Similarly, in the second track, you can go and see what are the incubators and accelerators available who can offer incubation and acceleration for enterprises in your sector or your entrepreneurship stage. Maybe you're just an aspiring entrepreneur, you're just at an idea stage, and you want an incubator who will entertain and incubate and support women entrepreneurs who are just at the idea stage. So you can go and find out which are the incubators and accelerators who accept entrepreneurs at the idea stage, at the product prototype stage, or later stages. Similarly, it also features upcoming mentorship sessions that the WEP platform itself does. And the last track, you can figure out which are the dedicated programs on mentorship happening, and are you eligible, and can you apply for those programs. So this is what the mentorship platform has on offer. You also see something called smart matchmake. We can go back to the last slide, Sheetal. So smart matchmake is basically you create your profile, and as I said, there are a host of government schemes, not just central schemes, but also state schemes that are specifically supporting entrepreneurs. So you can create your profile and you can be matched with the schemes that show a match with your profile. So if you're a entrepreneur in a food processing sector, for example, there are many Government of India schemes on food processing which will throw up, and you can see if you're eligible to apply for those schemes. Similarly, it can match you with your requirements and schemes that you could explore. If you're looking for financing, it will throw up all the schemes that the government has on financing. It also has specific programs. So the WEP platform is reaching out to states. It is also catalyzing the state ecosystem for women entrepreneurs. And it is launching specific on-ground programs with different partners in states. So, for example, we recently launched a program with Make My Trip, which will support capacity building for women homestay owners in the Northeast. Another program that was launched by WEP in the Goa State Workshop last month was a partnership with ICAI, where you can access a chartered accountant's services to support and advise you on any compliance related matters that you're seeking advice on. So these are specific state specific programs that the Women Entrepreneurship platform is launching to ensure that there is support available on ground for women entrepreneurs. Similarly, we do a lot of research. You can find interesting research on entrepreneurship on the platform as well. We can go to the next slide. Rekha, how are we doing on the time? Do I have some more time?
I think we're fine on time, Sonal. You finish your presentation and then we will take some questions.
Okay. So quickly, just mapping some specific scheme examples of which are the schemes that are catering to women entrepreneurs. There are a lot more, but if we just go through the flagship schemes that you would have also heard about a lot is, for example, the Mudra Yojana. So Mudra offers you loans up to 10 lakh, which are collateral free. You can access the Mudra scheme going to any public sector bank, and it's an affordable loan. So you could access the loan for about, I think, 7.5% of interest rate, and that could vary a little bit according to different public sector banks, but usually that 7 to 8% rate, which is the normal PSB rate, would be applicable on Mudra Yojana as well. And many women entrepreneurs have accessed loans under Mudra, and specifically, Mudra intends to promote women's entrepreneurship by creating better flow of credit to women entrepreneurs. Because what the government also felt, why Mudra was launched in the first place, is that there is a lot of credit is easily available through the SHG bank linkage program to rural women enterprises. It is easily available if you need collateral free credit up to 1 lakh or 1.5 lakh. But the missing middle was a huge gap. So women entrepreneurs could face a lot of difficulty in finding credit in the ticket sizes of say 3 lakh to 10 lakh, which is a usual ticket size if you are starting up with setting up an enterprise. So Mudra tries to solve that missing middle gap in credit and tries to create affordable access to credit for women entrepreneurs. Similarly, Stand Up India is a scheme which specifically targets SC/ST borrowers and one woman borrower per branch of a bank. So any bank branch is mandated to have loans under Stand Up India scheme, and the loan size is also pretty decent in terms of 10 lakhs to 1 crore they give under the Stand Up India scheme at an affordable rate. Similarly, there is the Credit Guarantee Fund Trust for Micro and Small Enterprises, which is called CGTMSE. Many of you would have heard of it, but it is a mechanism. So the government sees that there is a lot of risk aversion also in the banking industry if you need collateral free loans. So CGTMSE is a mechanism that the government adopts to promote collateral free loans for the micro and small sector who cannot really provide collateral, and specifically women, because women really don't own properties in India. The figure looks very bad. So there is always a lack of collateral that women face. So to solve this problem, the government promotes guarantees to the lenders. So the government says that through CGTMSE, I will provide guarantees to my member banking institutions, and this guarantee will be provided on loans that you give to micro and small enterprises. And there is a further subsidy that they give if you're giving a loan to a woman-led enterprise. And even so, the CGTMSE charges some application fee and some minimal guarantee fee. That also is subsidized for women entrepreneurs. So this is a very good market making mechanism, which actually encourages banks to provide more loans to women entrepreneurs and increase the risk appetite of banks to create more credit flow for women. Similarly, PMEGP is a scheme of the central government that encourages women entrepreneurs and young people who have ideas and who are not established entrepreneurs, but you just have ideas, to seek loans from banks under this scheme. And there is a certain percentage, I think 20% or so, reserved to catering specifically to women entrepreneurs who are new entrepreneurs and want to set up their enterprises. We can move to the next slide, Chetan. Yeah. Government focuses also a lot on providing specific market access. So, of course, funds of funds is there. Funds of funds is a big corpus that the government has created of 10,000 crores in 2016, and it has topped it up since then. This fund of funds is a fund that is housed with SIDBI, and SIDBI's venture capital arm gives funding to startups out of this fund, and this fund has about 10% reserved for women entrepreneurs, for funding women entrepreneurs, which is about 1,000 crores. So this is specifically for women-led startups. Again, Startup India has a lot of incentives for startups specifically, but coming to some interesting schemes that the Ministry of MSME has. is international cooperation. So the government also wants MSMEs in the country to participate and have global market access. So the Ministry of MSME organizes a lot of helps MSMEs to participate in a lot of exhibitions abroad. The Samarth scheme, if you see, has supports industry associations who are supporting MSMEs to visit these international fairs and exhibitions to advertise their products and services abroad. And this has a reservation for women. So necessarily 20% women should be represented in any government supported delegations that are going to these international exhibitions. Similarly, I don't know if you already know this, but public procurement is a huge market that is open for entrepreneurs in general and specifically for women entrepreneurs. So, if you look at the website of the government e-marketplace, all the procurement of goods and services that the government does happens now only online and only through government e-marketplace. So it's a huge platform that is a market that you can access for which the government uses to buy goods and services from entrepreneurs. They specifically reserve 3% of public procurement for women under the initiative called Womania. And there is also a specific track for startups for advertising their goods and services on the government e-marketplace. So that's again a huge opportunity. And just last year, if you see the transactions worth more than 6 lakh crore happened on this public procurement portal. So you could definitely check this out. This is like a ready market pool available for entrepreneurs who have goods and services to offer on the GEM marketplace. We can now go to the next slide and we are open for questions next. So DPIIT, and before even I talk about DPIIT, India has done a tremendous job in terms of promoting the startup ecosystem in the country. We are now the third largest startup ecosystem in the world, and that has happened because of all the regulatory reforms that the government has done. So the government has undertaken more than 50 regulatory reforms since 2016 to improve the ease of doing business. It has specifically targeted, speedy approvals for startups and a lot of initiatives under DPIIT to ensure that it is giving a platform for startups to grow and become profitable sooner. That's how we have so many unicorns and startups in India now. So as of 31st December, there were more than 86,000 startups that were DPIIT recognized. And now each district in the country has a DPIIT recognized startup. What you get, so you can go to the DPIIT website and you can self-register. So self-certification is facilitated on the website. You get faster patent applications and IPR application approvals through the DPIIT. And also almost every state in India has a specific startup policy, which gives you further state-specific benefits if you're registered in a particular state. Then I explained the CGTMSE in the last slide, but there is a specific CGTMSE or a guarantee scheme for startups to ensure that there is greater credit flow for startups. Startups are exempted. There is a 3-year tax exemption for eligible startups. Similarly, there are much easier public procurement norms. So, for example, the GEM portal has a startup runway where startup products and services are given a priority. So we have a lot that's going on. I think if we are aware of so much that the government has on offer, and if we want to access all of these benefits it will be also great to go through all of the schemes that are now all available, consolidated under the Women's Entrepreneurship Platform, and see what works for you, what you are eligible for, and which of these areas you want assistance in, and then apply accordingly. So I will stop there. Rika has spoken a lot, and I'm open for any questions that you have.
Sonal, thank you very much for this very, very insightful session. I think it was brilliant. Some absolute gems for the entrepreneurs who are a part of this community. And I have to tell you that we are, live streaming this. It's not just the ones who are present here. It'll benefit a lot of them. There are 23,000 plus who are a part of this community. So they will keep watching even later. But I think at this point, we will take some questions. If anyone has a question, we have Sonal for roughly next 20 minutes. I think this is the time to ask. Is Madhura here? I think Madhura,
Hello.
Madhura is the
Hi.
founder and CEO of Aspire for Her. Uh, Madhura, let me introduce Sonal to you. She did this brilliant session with us today. And Madhura's vision is for entrepreneurs to become a virtual accelerator and work with many, many incubators. So, Madhura, yes, please.
No, Sonal,
Hi,
I was
Mandy.
listening in. I got a little delayed, but I was listening in. This is absolutely amazing stuff. And as you were speaking, I was actually thinking that Aspire for Her also is a DPIIT registered startup. So where would we fit in, and where should we sort of access some of these wonderful opportunities that you mentioned? Though I do recognize the fact that, and the numbers were also very telling. It's not something new, but it's really sad that the women in entrepreneurship, as well as the women who actually get market linkages, credit linkages, they're abysmal. Absolutely. I mean, I can't use a kinder word over here. It's really,
Yeah.
really sad. But that's not really only on the part of the women, because I think the entire ecosystem sort of
Yeah.
pushes them towards different kinds of career options or non-career options, if you will. And I think that's the problem we're trying to solve at Aspire for Her. We're trying to unleash the $1 trillion potential that more women in the economy can actually potentially unleash. So thank you so much for this. Really, really liked the talk, and I was just listening in quietly, but very, very informative. We do have a lot of interesting projects coming up for entrepreneur, and Rika will tell you about some more stuff. We'd love for you to be part of that. Would love for you to mentor our 23,000 plus entrepreneurs. Hopefully we'll hit 25,000 really soon, and that'll be a point of celebration. So we will keep coming back to you, and it's been extremely useful. I see a lot of hands up, so I'll keep quiet. But we will definitely link up and seek more of your insights, your expertise for the entrepreneurial community. Thank you very much once again.
Thank you.
Sonal,
Thank you.
I was listening to your numbers with a lot of intent, and one of them that really stood out for me was only 10% of the fund of funds reserved for women. That really is not a happy situation for us. I
Yeah.
think Rashmi, we have Rashmi here. Would you like to ask your question? Ma'am, if you don't mind, can you put your camera on as well while you ask the question? Rashmi?
No, bandwidth issues. Yes, Sonal, thank you so much.
Okay, no problem.
Yeah, thank you. Is my voice clear with audio?
Yes,
Is
yes, Rashmi.
Sonal, thank you so much for a wonderful session. I would like to understand how will MSc help us in, will MSc help us in identifying and applying for these grants, loans, resources, or opportunities specific to our industry? I'm into real estate services. So, specific to our industry, specific to being a startup or a woman entrepreneur, what help would you offer?
Yeah. So Rashmi, so MSc specifically would not, could not help you apply for a scheme, but what we do is we are the knowledge partner for the Women's Entrepreneurship Platform, and the Women's Entrepreneurship Platform is actively creating partnerships which actually help women in different sectors to access either programs on ground or access mentors and industry networks that would help entrepreneurs like you to access support services that you need to sort of reach where you want to go. So to start with, what I could say is, try to see schemes that would be applicable and useful for you from the entrepreneurship platform, which has all the schemes listed. And second, we would also encourage you to register for the mentorship platform and create your profiles on the women entrepreneurship platform, so that you can access and you can come to know of the various specific capacity building programs, general schemes that the government has, state specific schemes, incubators and accelerators that are near you and offer programs from time to time, and also specific sessions that are hosted from time to time by experts. So definitely something would click, and you could find something that would be useful for you.
So, I also really liked Rashmi's question a lot, Sonal, and I'll tell you, this has been a thought which has been going on in our minds as well. So, Sonal, what happens in a typical entrepreneur's life, and that, of course, is that they're very time poor. Because 24 hours in a day is not enough, and they're trying to do multiple things and juggling multiple balls, and it's often difficult to keep attending sessions to say, hey, something will click and therefore I should see this. It does become difficult. So is there a service, is there anyone who's actually providing a service to sit down with the entrepreneur on a customized one-on-one basis and sort of understand their, like a consultant, if you will, and just understand what their need is, which are the schemes that they sort of fit into, and then on a payment, of course, I'm talking on a commercial term, and then sort of help them apply, help them get them, because the government also, I'm sure, once they've launched these services and once they want their intentionality is very clear, but the assisted model works very well in India. So is there any service like that which we have?
Yeah, so right now, I'm not sure if there are sector-specific programs, definitely, but not sure of a service that actually helps you apply for a particular scheme. But for example, under the mentorship platform, we're trying to have mentors from different industry, and not really the government scheme, but they could definitely access individual mentors once they create their profile on that mentorship platform, and see if, for example, Rashmi is into real estate, she could search if there is some industry mentor available on the platform from the real estate. So she gets sector specific insights or any general profile of a mentor that she's looking for, but not really government scheme application assistance, I think, is available. Because also as principal, you're not supposed to pay for accessing government schemes. In principle, it should be accessible to everybody as the government is offering. So yeah, but
no, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I was thinking of a Hak Darshak model of sorts.
Yeah. But that's
which,
more focused on rural. I was about to
individuals,
say, but more focus for rural, not so much for urban. But assisted model works very well because we work with entrepreneurs across countries, and assisted model is a superstar.
Yeah. So we were thinking of setting up our own assisted format of the model ourselves, but if that works. But we'd love to sort of pick your brain on this one.
Sure.
Has Rashmi left the meeting?
No, Rika, no. Ma'am was speaking, so I just put myself on mute.
Okay, somehow I can't send you a message. Rashmi, I don't know why I can't send you a message. My number is 9899998958. If you can please note down my number at the end of the session, just ping me. I'll give you some contacts.
Great, Rika. 9899.
99
Okay.
8958.
Thank you so
We'll
much.
connect.
Yes.
Any other questions that anyone else wants to ask? We are almost hitting the end time. We'll make a hard stop at 5 o'clock. Yes, Jinia, please go on.
Hello, ma'am. Am I audible?
Yeah.
Thank you so much for this insightful session. And my question was that are there any schemes for student entrepreneurs? So I am looking for some schemes which are related to student entrepreneurship and women entrepreneurship. So if you could enlist some of them.
Okay. So, Jinya, I think PMEGP is something, please look at PMEGP, which is Prime Minister's Employment Guarantee Program. Sheetal, am I right? PMEGP, whatever is the full form. It's a scheme of the Ministry of MSME, and it focuses a lot on helping young people who are still thinking of setting up enterprises to provide them with access to loans and services so that they can start their enterprises. And then there is all the incubators and accelerators that are running programs across India. There are many of them who cater to idea stage entrepreneurs. So I would classify you as an idea stage student entrepreneur. And you could look at who are those incubators and accelerators near your geography. And that list is available. You can match make it from the Women's Entrepreneurship Platform. And you can also access these programs that specifically cater to student entrepreneurs or entrepreneurs who are still ideating on, how to start up and how to become an entrepreneur in the future.
And adding to that, there's also Atal Innovation Mission, which is specifically focused to student entrepreneurs. So that is something that can be helpful to you.
Yeah, and Atal Innovation Mission actually has labs across the country. So that is also available on their website. You could check out which are the institutions that host a cell of the Atal Incubation Mission.
Thank you so much, ma'am.
Sonal, Rashmi here again. You mentioned about PMEGP, right? Prime Minister Employment Generation Program. So is that also applicable for service-based industries or only product-based companies where manufacturing is involved?
I think it's also available for service-based, but Sheetal, do you have that ready on top of your mind? But we'll have to check, Rashmi.
Yeah, it's service-based as well. Both
Okay,
for
thank you,
the
Sheetal.
service sector.
Okay.
Thank you.
We have just about time for one last question. I think you've kind of given us a lot of food for thought, Sonal.
I have a question, Rika. So I
Yes,
just
yes. Sorry, please go on, Amisha.
no, Bhuvna here.
No,
I
it's
just want
Bhuvna. Okay, please go on. Sorry.
on behalf of entrepreneurs, and this question does come up in our other forums as well. Like, what is the turnaround time, right? When from application to what is that process of consideration itself? So that's something that is not really available on the web pages. So if you
Yeah.
could.
Bhuvna, you've asked $1 million question. So even I don't have answer to that question. But see, for the schemes, we definitely see that schemes that are available online, you definitely receive some or the other notification on, where you are at which stage. For example, Mudra, PNB, which is loan in 59 minutes, which is a collaboration of many public sector banks, etc. So schemes that are streamlined and completely online end to end, you definitely keep getting notifications on which stage you are. But we do not have any any insight on how does it work for schemes that are offline, that are state specific. So that is definitely something that we are also not aware of. But we do see that a lot of schemes are now streamlined, and more of the schemes are getting online. Increasingly, we see specifically the central sector schemes, the schemes that are flagship schemes of the government of central government of India. Majority of central schemes are going online. We see that states are still lagging behind. So states still have schemes that are mostly offline, but central sector schemes are increasingly getting online. And once you get offer that online application, you get keep on getting notifications on which stage of processing you are in. But I would definitely suggest that let's not get bogged down by what is the turnaround time, and whether we are able to access it or not. We should definitely try to see what schemes we are applicable for. And I also see that mostly in terms of financing schemes, for example, Mudra, etc., where you have to apply online. If you have all your documents in order, 3 साल का statement है, banking history अच्छा है, तो it तुरंत gets uploaded and you get a notification on where you are. So at least to start with, see the low-hanging fruits that are there available. And example also the MSME schemes that encourage business associations to send more women entrepreneurs abroad for these exhibitions, etc. So sometimes they're not even able to mobilize the 20% that they've reserved for women. You'll be surprised to know that GEM, which is completely online, they've reserved 3% for women entrepreneurs, but they fulfill only 1% of their target, because there are not enough women entrepreneurs coming and aware that GEM
Not
has
aware of
3%.
it. You're not aware
Yeah.
of data
Yeah.
point. Yeah.
Yeah. So
Is there
3%.
a way, sorry to interrupt because of the time, just
Yeah.
maybe at a future date, we can see if there is some policy level change that we can jointly, work on with Aspire for Her and your organization. That would also be really helpful.
Yeah. We can definitely, we love to work with Aspire for Her, such a vibrant community. We should see how we can accelerate the system more. Yeah.
Thank you. It's a great session, Sonal. Thanks for all the inputs and the data.
Thank you, Bhuvna.
Sonal, really, really grateful to you for this wonderful session. Questions will keep coming in, and I have your email. We'll also get you back for another session later in the community. If there are further questions, I will probably write an email to you with a consolidated bunch. Really grateful.
Sure.
Thanks for joining.
And please keep an eye out on multiple programs on the entrepreneurship platform so that you can enroll. We also have a specific capacity building program for green entrepreneurs coming up, and many such programs are upcoming. So an eye on that as well.
Right. So the ones who are in the sustainability space, please pick up on that. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Rika. Thank you. Thanks. Bye.